Hi World Lit students. I know I said that I was going to make a video and post it for you to watch at your convenience. However, I was not feeling well. Like I got sick over the weekend and yes. So anyway, what I'm going to do now is just talk to you about some of the background issues that some of the qualities of jazz that might make it difficult for you to understand, but the idea is after you watch this, you'll be in a much better position to continue reading jazz and to understand it. And the idea is to also help prepare you for class tonight. So this will not be long, maybe about 10 minutes, but if you have time, it will help prepare you for tonight's class. So one thing that you need to know about jazz is that it's what's called a fragmented narrative. Now, what does that mean? It means that most books are written by with a single narrator. That means there's one person who tells the story, and then most of the time they tell a series of events in chronological order. So we have a straight line that goes kind of from beginning to middle to end, and it's told by one person. Jazz does something very different. It actually has an omniscient narrator, that's a third person narrator who kind of knows everything. But then each of the characters in jazz also gets a turn to narrate. So the narrator jumps around a lot. The person who is telling us the story, that changes many times throughout the novel, and it can be at first when you read it and you don't know that that's happening, it can be a little bit jarring. It feels it's confusing. And then something else is that jazz does not tell a single story from beginning to middle to end. What it does is it takes these central characters and they share their perspectives on this key incident. And the key incident or the situation that all the characters are weighing in on is the affair between Joe and Dorcas. So if you didn't get that far in jazz, so there are Joe and Violet, and they're both in their 50s. They've been married forever. They came to the city, to Harlem from Virginia, when they were teenagers, and they've been together since then. So that's a long time. They drifted apart a while ago due to Violet's mental illness. And so Joe has been feeling lonely for a while, but it wasn't until recently that he actually decided to do something about it. So how do we know that he planned on doing something about it? Because before he met Dorcas, he made plans with a neighbor downstairs to rent a room from her once a week so that he would have some place to take his new lady friend. And Joe sells cosmetics and women's skincare products door to door in Harlem, so that one would think that he could very easily meet women that way. But Joe is actually a good guy. He doesn't do that. It also wouldn't be very smart of him because Harlem's, not the biggest place. So if he did hit on his customers, their husbands would find out and he would not have a job anymore. So Joe is actually a decent guy. He sees Dorcas first in the drugstore buying candy, and then he goes to her aunt's to sell his Cleopatra products, and Dorcas answers the door. Now, and they have an affair, and Dorcas soon grows tired of Joe because she wants someone her own age. However, Joe is really, I don't know if in love is the right word, but he has a thing for Dorcas, and he doesn't want to let her go, and he refuses to let her go. And I hope I'm not ruining it for you, but he kills her. So Violet, by the time Joe kills Dorcas, Violet finds out about the affair, and she goes to the funeral. She goes to Dorcas's funeral in an attempt to cut her face. So So that is also a huge scandal. Not just the affair, but the fact that that Violet disrupted the funeral, Dorcas's funeral, by trying to attack her dead body. So as the book goes on, we get the opinions of the different characters on these events, and then we also get some of the background information on the characters. For example, none of the characters are from the city. They've all migrated to the city from other places. Violet and Joe are from rural Virginia, and Dorcas is from East St. Louis. Now, this is important because the city is pretty much a character. There are many descriptions of the city. There's a lot of things that are said about the city and what it can do to people. So the city definitely negatively influences all of these characters. Dorcas, Joe, and Violet, they are not used to the city. They are from the country, and they just aren't ready for city life and the power of that life. Let's see. So the first chapter begins, the book starts with the omniscient narrator telling us, I know that woman, she used to live with a flock of birds on Lenox Avenue, and she's referring to Violet. And she's also describing Violet's attempt to cut Dorcas's face, and then she goes on and talks about Violet and the strange things that she does to try and get Joe to fall back in love with her. But then the narrator talks about the city and how she loves it, and what else? And then she goes back to talking about Joe and Violet and how they're living with the affair after Dorcas's death. But anyway, that should be enough background to help you out if you've felt confused, and I will see you tonight in class. Bye.